When you hear the word architect, you probably picture people, right? Humans designing incredible buildings. Grand skyscrapers that scrape the sky. Sprawling cities woven together with roads, cozy homes built with painstaking care. But what if I told you that the most impressive architectural marvels on this planet weren't built by us at all? What if the most sophisticated, sustainable, and frankly, unbelievable homes were dreamed up by creatures with brains no bigger than a grain of rice? These architects use materials we'd just walk past. Mud, spit, sticks, and silk to engineer structures that can survive the harshest environments on Earth. From underwater artists to masters of green engineering, we're about to pull back the curtain on the secrets of nature's greatest builders. Get ready to have your definition of home completely redesigned. First up, we're heading to South America to meet a feathered mason known as the red ovenbird. This bird doesn't just weave a few twigs together, oh no. It builds a literal fortress out of mud. Its name is no accident. The ovenbird builds a thick-walled, dome-shaped nest that looks almost exactly like a traditional clay oven. Working together as a pair, the birds gather hundreds of mud pellets, mixing them with things like dung and plant fibers to bind it all together. They build the walls meticulously, layer by layer, often right on an exposed tree branch or even a telephone pole. And the final structure isn't just a dome, it's a two-chambered masterpiece. There's an outer entrance that leads to a little vestibule, a mudroom if you will, which then opens into the inner chamber where the eggs are kept safe. This smart design gives them incredible protection from predators and insulates their chicks from the blistering sun. Once baked hard by the heat, these adobe homes can last for years, often getting passed down to other birds after the original builders move out. Alright, now we're going from a fortress of mud to a suit of armor you can wear. Let's shrink down and dive into the freshwater streams of the world. Here you'll find a tiny architect whose genius is in building mobile, custom-made armor, the caddisfly larva. Before it becomes a fly, this little insect is stuck underwater and is basically a walking snack for fish. To survive, it builds its own protective case, a sort of portable log cabin it carries on its back. This larva is a master of using local materials. Using silk that it spins from a gland on its head, it carefully glues together tiny grains of sand, pebbles, twigs, whatever is lying around, and this choice of material is no accident. Larvae living in fast-moving streams would use heavier stuff like little stones to keep from getting washed away, while the ones in calm ponds use lighter materials like hollowed-out stems to help them float. Each case is a perfect piece of camouflage and a physical shield against hungry predators. The caddisfly larva lives in this custom-built suit of armor, constantly patching it up and adding to it as it grows. It just goes to show that even the smallest creatures can be brilliant engineers. Now, not all animal architecture is about pure survival. Sometimes it's about finding love. Flying over to the rainforests of New Guinea, we find an architect driven by pure desire. The male vogelkop bowerbird is maybe the animal kingdom's most passionate and strange interior designer. He doesn't build a nest for his family, he builds a stunning stage to attract a mate, a structure called a bower, and it is a work of art. The male builds a hut-like bower, sometimes several feet high, out of sticks. But the building is just step one. The real show is in the decorating. He carefully arranges colorful objects to create an incredible display, making neat piles of shiny beetle wings, bright flowers, berries, and even colorful trash like bottle caps. And this isn't just a random pile of junk. The bowerbird actually understands perspective, arranging objects to create optical illusions that make him look bigger and more impressive to a female. She'll hop between several bowers, judging the males on their artistic and architectural skills. It's a wild reminder that sometimes the most amazing structures aren't built for survival, but for seduction. Okay, from romance to pure suspense. Hiding in plain sight, the trapdoor spider is a master of camouflage and mechanical engineering. This shy arachnid doesn't spin a web out in the open, it digs a home that doubles as a deadly trap. Using its powerful fangs, the spider carves out a vertical burrow deep in the soil and then lines the whole thing with silk to make it stable. But the real stroke of genius is the door. The spider builds a perfectly round, beveled lid from soil, silk, and nearby plants. The hinge is pure silk and the door fits so perfectly into the opening that it becomes almost invisible. The spider then just waits underneath, holding the door shut, feeling for the faint vibrations of a bug walking by. In a flash, it throws the door open, snatches its prey, and yanks it down into its lair. The door isn't just for ambushing either. It's a bunker door. If a predator like a wasp tries to dig it out, the spider will grab the inside of the door with its fangs and hold it shut with shocking strength. It's a simple and terrifyingly effective piece of engineering. You probably think of an anthill as just a pile of dirt, right? Well, the Indian harvester ant would like a word. These ants take underground building to a completely different level. They build sprawling, subterranean cities with an organization that could rival our own. Their nests aren't just random tunnels, they are complex labyrinths designed for climate control, farming, and defense. A single colony might have several entrances, each surrounded by the discarded shells of seeds they've eaten. Below ground, a massive network of tunnels connects all kinds of different chambers, each with its own job. Some rooms are granaries for storing seeds, others are nurseries for the young or living quarters for the rest of the colony. This maze-like design isn't just for looks. It helps regulate the temperature and humidity, creating a stable environment deep underground, and it's a fantastic defense system meant to confuse and trap any intruder who dares to enter. It's an incredible example of how millions of tiny individuals, all following simple rules, can work together to create something amazing. Of course, you can't talk about animal architects without bringing up the honeybee, nature's master of mathematical precision. Inside any beehive, you'll find one of the most efficient structures in the entire world, the honeycomb. Worker bees produce wax from glands on their bodies, which they chew up and mold into a perfect array of hexagonal cells. So why hexagons? Well, mathematicians have proven that the hexagon is the absolute best shape for tiling a flat surface. It uses the least amount of material, in this case precious beeswax, to create the most possible storage space. This geometric perfection means the bees can fit their cells together with zero wasted space, creating a structure that's both incredibly strong and surprisingly light. These cells are all-in-one units used to store honey and pollen and to raise the next generation of bees. The entire hive works like a single organism, holding a constant temperature to keep the wax workable and the young bees healthy. It's a perfect fusion of biology, physics, and math. If you were trekking through the Kalahari Desert and saw what looked like a giant shaggy haystack stuck in a tree, you might be confused. But that's no haystack. It's an avian apartment complex built by hundreds of tiny birds called sociable weavers. They build the largest group nests of any bird in the world, a single structure that can weigh over a ton and house up to 500 birds. This nest is a masterpiece of natural air conditioning. Built from twigs and grasses, the huge thatched roof provides shade from the intense desert sun, which keeps the chambers inside cool. Then, during the cold desert nights, the thick insulation and the body heat from hundreds of birds keep the central rooms warm. Each breeding pair gets their own private entrance and nesting chamber inside the massive structure. These nests are so well built that they can last for generations, becoming permanent parts of the landscape. They also become hotspots for other animals. Falcons and finches will use empty rooms, and cheetahs will sometimes climb on top to get a better view. These birds aren't just building homes, they're engineering an entire ecosystem. And finally, we come to the architect that doesn't just build a home, it reshapes the entire world around it. The beaver. Using nothing but their powerful iron-laced teeth, they can take down whole trees. With those logs plus branches, rocks, and mud, they build massive dams across rivers, creating huge ponds and wetlands where there were none before. These dams are incredible feats of engineering. The beavers just instinctively know how to build a curved wall that can handle the immense pressure of the water. The world's largest known beaver dam, in Wood Buffalo National Park, Canada, is so massive it's clearly visible in satellite photos. It stretches for nearly half a mile and is the result of decades of work by generations of beavers. But the dam is just the start. In the middle of the pond they've just created, they build their home, the lodge. This is a dome-shaped house made of logs and mud, with its entrances cleverly built underwater. This moat provides a nearly perfect defense system against predators like bears and wolves. By creating these wetlands, beavers don't just build a home for themselves. They create a thriving new habitat for fish, frogs, birds, and countless other species, completely changing and enriching the entire ecosystem. So from the artistic passion of the bowerbird to the world-altering power of the beaver, the animal kingdom is just filled with architects whose genius and resourcefulness are simply staggering. These creatures prove you don't need fancy degrees or heavy machinery to build something extraordinary. They work with what nature gives them, following blueprints perfected over millions of years of evolution. Their homes are so much more than just shelters. They're a testament to the incredible and often overlooked intelligence that is all around us. The next time you see a bird's nest or a spider's web, take a closer look. You're not just looking at a simple structure, you're looking at a genuine architectural marvel. So which of these animal architects blew your mind the most? Was it the artistic bowerbird, the industrious beaver, or the sneaky trapdoor spider? Let us know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this look into the world of amazing animal homes, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another journey into the wonders of the natural world. Thanks for watching.